morning, and welcome to another episode of Hard Factor. It is Wednesday, September 25th. Our top stories for the day. You wouldn't believe it, but I'm going to lead us off with, guess what the topic is?
Brexit?
It's impeachment.
Oh, I heard about the impeachment yesterday. Yeah,
the big I word got drawn out on
which is like
Tuesday.
It's like the Brexit of the U.S. president.
Exactly.
Right.
And then going off the tales of impeachment, Wes is going to give us a Brexit update. The Whig judges finally put the death blow to Boris Johnson, apparently.
Yeah, all this fucking pageantry over there is fucking sickening. It looks like a Catholic mass and a reenactment and like a court proceeding all rolled into one.
Let the Queen decide.
It's ridiculous.
It's a Mardi Gras parade over there.
Yeah.
And Mark and Pat take us through a news buffet of other headlines. All right, let's get into impeachment. So Donald Trump had quite a little Tuesday. He kicked it off first Monday night by mocking Greta Thunberg on Twitter before hitting the sack. But then he woke up bright and early to give a speech at the United Nations in New York. A United Nations event in New York.
Right.
But he didn't even get to the stage before he started taking the defensive on Twitter about Ukraine Gate. You remember the incident where he, allegedly or did try to get the Ukrainian president to reopen an investigation into the Bidens. Anyways,
withheld military aid or whatever. Yeah.
Right. We'll get into that. So that's the meat of this impeachment stuff. But the UN speech was so boring that Human Turtle and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross slept through the entire thing on video. So that's how crazy of a story this is. We don't even have time to talk about that. But that
guy has to snore, right? He snores.
Has to.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he snores. Yeah.
Wilbur?
But yeah.
He snores.
Well, yeah, so you remember on Monday, we talked about Ukraine Gate, and Pelosi was demanding the full, quote, whistleblower report. So they want that whistleblower report to be made public, the one that kicked off this whole Ukraine Gate episode. And fast forward 2 days, so that was Sunday. Now on Tuesday, fast forward 2 days. On Tuesday, Nancy Pelosi has formally announced that the House Democrats will be proceeding with an impeachment inquiry that will put 6 congressional committees into action to investigate the president's interactions with Ukraine and whatever else may be impeachable. So it's official now.
She also put social media in a frenzy and all the news channels in a frenzy. And
Right. Yeah, so that's official. Pelosi, who is desperately trying not to lose her dentures and talk at the same time during the extremely brief speech. It was like less than 5 minutes, but she barely kept her teeth in. She said that the president acted in a way that would benefit him politically, which must be wildly different somehow than what Biden did, and that's why the impeachment inquiry is now official and moving forward.
But Biden's not the sitting president. So she's
he's not.
Yeah.
No, not currently. Yeah,
But I did ask my dentist guys, do I really have to floss? And he said, only if you want to keep your teeth. So,
oh man, my teeth are going.
Just an important lesson.
My teeth are going
about
soon.
the dentures.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the Democrats, the leadership is a tough look right now. Biden losing the dentures during debates. Pelosi can barely get a speech out without the dentures flying out. It's a mess over there.
I'm gonna be in my dentures in my 50s for sure.
Oh,
denture
absolutely.
dandy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'll probably be like, they'll get the last laugh on all of us.
You have
Anyways,
great teeth, Will.
That's what the dentist tells me.
I kicked a tooth out of Will once, but anyways.
Anyways, what exactly does this mean that the impeachment inquiry is now official? Apparently, nothing. She's saying that the 6 committees will continue to investigate Trump for reasons to file articles of impeachment, but she's not saying that they will conclude their investigation at any point or when they will actually file the articles of impeachment. Basically, they're just like the guy who's getting up to fight another guy in a bar or a sports stadium and is just saying, like, push me, bro. Just push me and it's fucking on. Because like they're saying you swing first, basically.
Right.
Yes, and I don't want charges.
I agree with you. And an impeachment inquiry means basically she can have a special committee look into articles of impeachment or investigate, or she could have the Judiciary Committee that normally looks into it, which is 41 people.
And if you swing on her with those facts, she's gonna fuck you up.
Right, but there's no time. There's no timetable for it. So then they have to vote a majority of that to go to the House floor, which will take a while. Then the 50% of the House floor or more has to vote on it. Then if they vote on it, then that means it's an impeachment. Yeah. Then it goes to the Senate, and the Senate has to vote for a majority, and they are the people that can vote the president out. The House votes on the impeachment. The Senate votes on whether the president will be
they remove
removed
on office and shit ain't happening. So I was saying yesterday that what Trump and Biden did were the same exact thing, and I need to correct that. There is a difference, not only what Mark said earlier that Trump is a sitting president, but that Trump is doing something with Ukraine to interfere with an election, which would benefit him and his party, where Biden was doing it to benefit his son, but it also would have ultimately benefited his family and his political party as well. So in a way, I guess if the original motivation matters, then that's the, motivation and who's sitting at the time. I guess that's the issue. But also, potentially, this is part of being a fucking president or vice president, and it may be just part of the job. I don't know. It's hardball.
You're saying messing with foreign leaders is just part
negotiate,
of the
strong-arming
yeah,
people to get
job.
your way internationally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, I think no matter what, especially with the fact that, Trump has buddied up with Vladimir Putin, the motherfucker that meddled in our election or attempted to meddle in our election. Trump needs to stop fucking communicating with foreign leaders about anything internal to the United States. Like, just stop it. It's like, you got beef with Biden's son, you got beef with Biden, cool, whatever. Just let it go, Trump. Like, just focus on us,
you dance
bro.
with treason when you're talking about that, but it depends. Like, it's a gray area, and like Will said, every president, it's part of the job.
Fair point, right? And that is the big line here. What's treasonous and what's not. To me, like you said, it has to get through 60% of the Senate to remove him from office. No fucking chance. If this is what all they got, is what I think.
Right, but it opens the door. The inquiry doesn't just have to be for Ukraine. The inquiry can include.
Could it be all the Mueller report stuff too?
Right, obstruction of justice and stuff like that. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's a lot there. But
could go back into the Mueller report.
I think the inquiry was twofold, but I think that we'll get to that. I think that Donald Trump kind of is like the guy, the really fast baseball player, like the leadoff hitter that takes way too big of a lead from first base, and he's kind of been like goading them into it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
and the pitcher's like, oh shit, should I throw the impeachment to pitch back to first base? And they finally did. They're kind of like going. They like he took too big a lead. Yeah, they checked him.
He's like Otis Nixon. He's the Otis Nixon of presidency.
Yeah, that's a great comparison.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah. Also, good comparison. Anyways, I assume that this means that Biden may no longer be supported by the Democratic Party since they're considering impeaching Trump for something that Biden basically also did during the last presidency. And it definitely won't make it through the Senate. So, like we've been talking about, basically just be ceremonial impeachment. So it's a ceremonial impeachment that would throw Biden under the bus. So it seems like he might be on the outs with the Democratic Party.
Right. That's the two parts that I was going to talk about. I think that one is the Democratic base has been calling for an impeachment forever. So Pelosi kind of had to, at some point, show a backbone. And she did. And then I think the other thing is that they're sick of they don't think Biden's the best candidate potentially because when she chose to do it throws Biden right under the bus. If this is actually something they're going to impeach him for, I don't think they're going to then have the front runner Democratic nominee be a guy that basically did the same fucking thing.
I feel like Warren is in striking distance now, and he doesn't appeal to their base.
Right.
So they're getting rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me say two things. The first, I like a ceremonial impeachment because it's like you get the impeachment without having to do all the hard work for it. And then two, like what was up with 4 days ago? The news essentially saying like Biden's done, and Biden's not done. I mean, he hasn't come out and said he's done. But like,
have you been listening to the segment? He's done.
Yeah,
he's done now.
But what I'm saying is like, if we've learned anything from our current president, just deny, and pretend nothing's happening, and you're cool.
Yeah, but he's in the party that will back him on that.
Doesn't work that way on the left.
Nope.
Does not work that way. All right, taking it to the internet, you know who we're going to. Our boy at Real Donald Trump. Of course, he was stirring it up the most on the internet over this. When it all came out, when the announcement came out, he just sort of went on a Twitter tear, and he started off like this. Pelosi, Nadler, Schiff, and of course Maxine Waters. Can you believe this? And then he followed that up immediately with, they never even saw the transcript of the call. A total witch hunt. And then he followed that up immediately with presidential harassment, all caps. So he's just went on a tear. Then he dropped a couple of hype videos about how he's going to beat the impeachment, and then he shut up. So
what's y'all's take on the presidential harassment line that he drops every once in a while?
Oh, he's just doing it to get the juices flowing. That's all he's doing. He's pumping it up.
He's riling up the base. I see that it has it had 117,000 likes at the time.
That was as of the time I screen printed it.
Probably even more now. Yeah. So
his campaign sent 4 emails today. One with the subject impeachment ? And then the other an impeachment meeting, and then call transcripts.
Yeah, and I was thinking this earlier today. I really now do heavily believe he's been planning this out for a long time because he's got some scripted moves.
He was leading from first base. All right, guys, look, it's kind of embarrassing for America just to even go through an impeachment no matter what side you're on. But this is the time to get unpredicted if you're not already. 18 people signed up yesterday with our deposit code at www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20 and got their free $20 matching deposit on any first-time deposit over $20. It's totally legal in all 50 states. It's easy to win and easy to withdraw your winnings. Take it from me. I've done that 4 times already now in the past 2 months that we've been working with them.
Oh, well, look at Mr. Moneybags
right.
over there.
You're right.
Winning every bet.
You hear all this impeachment stuff in the news, and you see it in the news, and everyone on Predict It goes nuts over this type of shit. Like, what they do is they react to events like Pelosi announces an impeachment inquiry. Holy shit. And then they go and they buy, like, yes, he's going to get impeached, but then they don't read the whole process of impeachment requires multiple committees, and there's no timetable. Then it has to go through the House. People react to the news. They make bad bets, and if you are paying attention and you also kind of don't bet with your with your heart, and you think of like what's actually going to happen and not what you really want to happen, you can easily make money on the stock market.
Well, as somebody who bets with my heart, I gotta say I bailed on Biden last night. I almost bailed on him when the dentures happened.
That's probably a good bet, though. That was a hard end.
Last night I bailed hard.
Yeah, so like it's a stock market type thing. So when these things happen, if you buy at the right time, it'll fluctuate, and you can make like 50% and just sell. You don't have to wait till the market ends. The 2 big markets for impeachment. Go ahead.
Let me add to that real quick. Yeah. You do have to have an iron will with Predicted, specifically because of what you're saying, Mark. Like, you can get in early and win, but just know if you know what's right, stick it out, and it'll probably go back.
Right, because your shit may lose money for a while, and then it wins.
Exactly.
Exactly. You just got to ride out the idiots.
Stick to your guns, because people will fuck with the market with their idiocy. Look, the 2 big markets that we're talking about for impeachment are: will Trump be impeached by the end of 2019, which went up to 42 cents at the end of yesterday, and then people read that, the impeachment process takes forever, and now it's back down to 29 cents. Perfect example. Could have made a shitload of money there. Then the other one is, will Trump be impeached by the end of his first term, which is like the end of 2020, which is like a year and 3 months from now, and that is at a coin flip right now, so you can bet yes or no depending on what you think is going to happen. Either way, go to www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20 to get in the game. That, combined with listening to Hard Factor, makes the news fun, guys. We have finally figured out how to do that. Get on it. Get involved.
All right.
There we go.
Moving on. I can put my Ever Scrolls on for this segment here.
There you go.
Ever Scroll even sounds British. It's perfect for it.
All right. Well, I hope everyone out there got rid of their Brexit stock on Predict It. I know I know I did. And,
the one you told us all to buy?
Yeah. That was the part I forgot to say. If you guys have any inquiries, you can DM us and we'll give you advice if we have any. But maybe not Wes. Maybe.
Yeah. So when I first told you to buy yes,
remember that Brexit, iron will stuff I was talking about?
Yeah. If when I first told you to buy yes for Brexit to happen by October 31st because of my extreme faith in Boris Johnson, and you thought to yourself, Wes has no fucking clue what he's talking about, and bought the no, you are smart, because today the Supreme Court of the UK stuck Brexit right up Boris Johnson's ass, finding that his move to prorogue or suspend Parliament was in fact illegal. Unanimously declaring, and read by the Supreme Court President Lady Hale, who, by the way, Mark, was wearing a giant sparkly spider pin on her shoulder.
Oh, fuck her. I don't care about her opinion at all.
Yeah. So the judges, all 11 of them, declared unanimously it was legal. And she said, quote, "The Prime Minister's advice to Her Majesty was unlawful, void, and of no effect, and that the decision had the effect of frustrating or preventing Parliament from carrying out its functions." So, dun, 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 he lied to the Queen. He lied to the Queen. He lied to the Queen. Oh, my God, he lied to the Queen.
So many
Off with his head.
Yeah. Freaking out right now. Just, he lied to the Queen.
How many times did we say that as well? You don't fuck with the Queen.
I mean, I don't know. Get out of here, Britain. I don't know about you guys. I've never heard the Queen utter a fucking word. She basically speaks in half-assed waves. In fact, in order to hear her talk, I YouTubed Queen talking and came across a video of her talking about how to wear the royal crown and how heavy it is and how many diamonds are on it. I mean, the thing could basically feed every starving child in the UK.
Boo-hoo. It's heavy to wear this like $10 million crown.
Yes.
Yeah, but they also have a monarch, which is kind of cool.
No. No, it's 2019. It's not
weird.
cool.
Well, but it's figurehead. She doesn't have any power, right?
She owns
It's
more
like a
land.
ceremonial
I mean,
impeachment.
she
power.
does. She fucked Boris Johnson, and she owns more land than anyone in the world.
Apparently.
And we all have to watch
All
her
right.
fucking family's royal weddings and bullshit. So she has
Well, maybe
tons
we
of
should
power.
shut up, guys.
Monarchs are ridiculous.
Sounds like the Queen could have us killed.
Yeah, she could easily. So this is essentially death for Boris, and he is already being called to resign by members of Parliament, including Labour Party leader James Corbyn, who you might remember was at one point in favor of another referendum or general election on Brexit. And commentators and news people all over the country are saying it is now a matter of honor that Boris Johnson go before Parliament and resign immediately, which he's not going to do.
What would that entail? You embarrass the Queen and you have to go resign in front of Parliament. Like, I think that would be like what The Simpsons predicted that Australia does in that scenario in front of Parliament. He has to go completely naked and wear a wig, and they just like flick his little penis and like kick him in the butt with a big
tar and feather.
Yeah,
Little Harry Potter kids screaming at you from the side of the screen.
Apologize to the Queen.
No, the next Parliament meeting is going to be a raucous event.
Yeah.
So to be clear, this was not a decision on Brexit. It was solely a decision based on Boris's suspension attempt, and the decision essentially means Parliament was never suspended and is currently in session. And while Boris, of course, disagrees with the court's decision, he is still holding on to the bucking bull that is Brexit, saying he will still take the UK out of the EU by October 31st, deal or no deal, even though Parliament already passed a law.
You know what happened here, though?
What's that?
He got way too cocky hanging out with Trump. He's doing too much now. He got so cocky hanging out with Trump, taking those pictures a couple weeks ago.
He was already a cocky motherfucker.
Trump's the
I
guy.
don't know. I think Trump got into him.
Trump's the guy that can convince you to do jump over 50 cars with a motorcycle, which
Right,
you can't do. Play chicken too long, you're gonna die.
You
Bro,
can
it's
definitely do it.
Brois is just saying, like, really, you just say that, but then you say something totally different, and no one gives you shit about it. He's like, yeah, no one.
I like that.
It's amazing.
All those
Imagine applying Trump rules to any other human.
He's a little bit better at playing the game than Boris Johnson.
Yeah, much better.
all those shoulder compliments went to his head. So
You're a big boy, aren't you?
He's still saying it's going to happen, deal or no deal, even though Parliament already passed a law requiring him to ask for another extension, I believe, with the EU. I mean, maybe this is good for Boris. Maybe this will humble him a little bit. Maybe it's what members of Parliament needed, is to see him get taken down a notch.
Good for Boris's brother.
Maybe well, he already left.
I know,
Joe's already gone.
He's happy.
Yeah.
He's going to come out of retirement like Sting, down from the rafters, lowered in by the cables.
Maybe it'll spark, bipartisan talks and negotiations going, and the deal will be made with the EU, or they'll jump on him like a bunch of rabid dogs like they did May, and the whole thing will turn into a no confidence vote in Boris and his government. Just speculation based on the past, and so far they are doing exactly that, jumping on him like a bunch of rabid dogs.
I'm leaning towards no confidence.
Yeah. I believe it's going to end badly for Boris. He's going to, be forced to resign or something. But of course, Boris was at the United Nations, and while sitting in front of press along with his boy, President Donald Trump, Trump weighed in saying, Boris, quote, I know him well. Don't worry about him. He's not going anywhere. To him, it's another day in the office. He's a professional. It's just another day in the office.
Still pumping him up.
Tough day for both of us. We're going to get through it.
Yeah. I'm going to have Mark read my Trumps from now on. So just
Couple of big boys.
So just two world leaders hanging out while people in their home countries call for their heads on a stick. Boris now has 36 days to get Brexit done, and I hope you sold the stock. And the fact remains, the people already voted on this shit. They wanted the Brexit, but he lied to Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah, I also want to point out that sorry, we cucked your big news day in the UK. The lead story on BBC.com was U.S. impeachment at the time of this recording. This is like when our friend hit a hole-in-one, and then a couple holes later, his friend hit a much prettier hole-in-one, and everyone enjoyed that hole-in-one much better. And it's the same fucking thing.
Oh yeah, the headline.
Only time he'll ever hit a hole-in-one in his life.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, the headline on CNN looked like Japan bombs Pearl Harbor. That's like what it looked like on the opening or the cover of CNN. So going to the internet, Vicky Louise Mitchell says, about time a court ruled the Parliament should carry out the wishes of the country and leave the EU. To that, Sue Ness says, Vicky Louise Mitchell, it is the wish of 17.4 million, not the country of 66 million plus, that this stupidity will affect if it continues. So she's just saying that, people don't vote.
She's like, well, we didn't vote, but we shouldn't be punished.
Right, yeah.
For not voting.
Yeah.
That's actually exactly how it works, people that don't vote. So
yeah, exactly.
bear that in mind when you skip the polls.
Exactly. And then Jackie Pierce says, what about the democracy of the British people? Money talks, obviously. We were asked to vote, and we did. We are being ignored. Disgusting, really. Courts are for law and order, not to get involved with politics. It's a sad day today. And that's what this whole thing is kind of about, is that previous to this, the Supreme Court stayed out of Parliament proceedings. So it's kind of like a new precedent that is being set today, and it's kind of a big deal that the Supreme Court now may get more involved in Parliament and politics.
The Whigs.
Yeah, the Whigs.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well done. Before we move on, I know we got to move on. I wanted to call out that thanks to all the listeners that DM'd us for the stickers. We got like 150 people that DM'd us asking for stickers across like 45 states and like including Alaska, and like 20 inquiries from Canada that we sent to. Not a single one from England. We're not very popular in the UK, but fuck them.
Yeah, you got to DM me directly if you want a sticker and you're in England.
Yeah.
Could be a cultural thing. Who knows? Let's get into the news buffet.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, so if you're listening to this show, we know that you at least tolerate the Hard Factor Daily News podcast auditorily. But did you know that we also post a video version of this podcast every day around 1 p.m. Eastern Time on both YouTube and Facebook?
What?
It's crazy.
We post the videos, and they are embarrassing.
And they are
They
sweaty.
are embarrassing.
Very fat.
And when you tune in, you'll notice that we here at Hard Factor have what even a child would call health concerns. And that's why we've been exploring what CBD can do for us. And you should too. CBD may offer many of the same health benefits as marijuana, but without the high, which means you can take it at times when weed would otherwise be inappropriate, like your workplace or at your nephew's birthday party. But seriously,
A funeral.
it's 100% legal. Well, I don't know. Do you, Will? I'm not. Yeah. They don't allow me to.
Yeah.
At my nephew's birthday party. I mean, it's 100% legal.
I'm doing a whole plant no matter where I'm at.
100. But yeah, you're committed to the
CBD,
game.
THC. I would definitely get it from CB Distillery, though, right? That's where we're
talking about, guys. With no prescription, you can go to cbdistillery.com and listen to what their customers say. 5 stars. I highly recommend CBD to everyone. It's done a complete turnaround for me. And then another customer wrote, excellent product, makes a big difference in my health. And this note, I will never do without CBD. It worked 100% for me. If you haven't tried CBD for whatever health concern you have, you should. Where you get CBD products is really crucial. With independent lab tests and nearly 250,000 customers, cbdistillery.com are the folks that I trust, Will trusts, Mark trusts, and
Damn
Wes
right.
kind of trusts.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, a little bit.
Wes doesn't trust anybody, though, so that doesn't.
That's true.
Look,
A kind of from Wes is a big endorsement.
Yeah, he's a conspiracy theory guy. You owe it to yourself to see what CBD can do for you. Go to cbdistillery.com and do yourself a favor and enter the promo code FACTOR for 20% off at checkout. Again, enter FACTOR at 20% off for 20% off at cbdistillery.com. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code FACTOR.
Nice. All right, guys. As we've said many times before on this podcast, and I have said many more times at home high on THC while also enjoying CBD, we truly have no fucking idea what's in the ocean. Not a clue.
Nope.
A perfect example to validate that argument is researchers just found a long-lost continent underwater. You heard me correctly, a fucking continent. That's like the largest type of land that exists. It's just been chilling underwater. We didn't know about it, like for 200 million years.
like a whole Australia just underneath.
The size of Greenland. Yeah, but yeah, basically, in Australia underneath the ocean in the Mediterranean Sea. So the research notes said that the continent was part of North Africa and eventually broke off and settled under southern Europe more than 200 million years ago. It has been given the name Greater Adria. The underwater continent, like I said, is the size of Greenland about. It's huge. So this is just like the equivalent of the underwater car that was a few feet underwater in like that pond in Florida that they found a 22-year-old dead rotting body in. It had been rotting for 22 years on Google Home or Google Earth. Except it's a fucking continent that expands the exact distance from Africa to Italy. That's just
people,
underwater.
animals, everything that just sank into the sea.
Yeah, and if you look at the map, it just was connected from Africa to southern Europe, and now it's completely undersea.
So that's the day the dinosaurs died.
Who knows? Was
Not
200
at all,
million-
Wes.
I think 200 million years ago. No. But
That was a big day.
yeah, it was a big day. I think that anything could be on the ocean, and I don't know when it broke off, if there were dinosaurs or not. But I can guarantee you that Greater Adria is now currently the home of the aliens underwater that are protected by the sharks. They have their own continent underwater.
Yeah, you think these people that sank under the sea didn't adapt?
No, they're still there. There's still
they
people under the
figured it
sea.
out.
There's whole societies under the sea.
All right, guys. quick update on a story we covered yesterday. The camel, whose jennies were unjustly bitten by a woman in Grosse Tete, Louisiana, after that camel sat on that woman, has been prescribed precautionary antibiotics. So inside sources are saying that the camel wasn't really worried about an infection, but is relieved to be taking the antibiotics because it would, quote, clear up a few things that may have been going on down below without having to go through an embarrassing STD test. So 2 humps with 1 stone there.
Antibiotics. It's for bees.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want bees. What Wes wants? Anti-bees. Antibiotics.
Anti-bees, baby.
Antibiotics.
Megastars Will and Jada Pinkett Smith reportedly have had to have an intervention with their son Jaden related to a severe decline in his health due to his eating habits.
Oh,
About time.
And when I first read this headline, I thought the worst. I thought maybe it's bulimia, maybe it's binge eating, maybe it's cannibalism. But no, it's none of those. It turns out they just had to confront Jaden for being too vegan.
What does that mean?
He was
lost weight.
getting sick because he was just being a vegan.
Because he'd only eat like grass and leaves.
And
Shoots,
heroin.
Exactly.
like
And heroin.
bamboo shoots.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
It was
here,
the
guys.
veganism combined with the heroin that got him.
Yeah.
Finally,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
officials in Colorado were forced to issue a warning to its residents to not pick up wildlife. This is after a Colorado Springs woman was spotted an injured bobcat on the road. So she put the bobcat in the backseat of her car, where her 3-year-old son was restrained in his car seat. Uh-oh. When wildlife managers arrived at the scene, they opened the door and quickly slammed it shut because there was a fucking bobcat in there.
Oh my God.
Makes sense. Is
Child
the kid
endangerment.
okay?
Kid's fine, maybe.
Wait.
And that's going to do it for Hard Factor. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hey, for those of you who ordered stickers, as Mark alluded to, if you want to DM us, we will send you Hard Factor stickers. Just DM us your address, and we'll get it out to you. We got a huge October. Lots of stuff we'll be getting into. This next weekend, we're at Texas Tribune Fest, doing Lord knows what. Hopefully getting maybe Stoned with the Mooch and maybe an interview with Ted Cruz or Amy Klobuchar if they'd ever get back to us. Feel free to use your Twitter powers to help us out here, listeners. And have a great fucking day.